NFL scouting combine just wrapped up, and with the draft right around the corner next month already, we have to start talking about who are the Giants going to draft in the 2023 NFL draft. What's going on, guys? Going on 27 Squad. Welcome back into another video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for content just like this, and let's get started. Now, I wanted to make a video on just focusing on the first round because there are plenty of variety of players that the New York Giants can select with the 21st or 25th overall pick, and with the possibility of trading up in this draft as well. Now, we all know that in those mid-20 rounds is the sweet spot for teams to go ahead and trade up into the teens or maybe even into the top 10, depending on the position that they are planning to take. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that the Giants may want to trade up in this draft, but I'm going to focus on a couple of prospects. Now, I can sit here and talk about every single prospect I would want with the 25th overall pick, or maybe a possibility of trading up, but I really shortened it down to 7 or 8 names that I think is the best possibility of the Giants taking, not just my favorite prospects, because I can put 15 names out there. It's just too much to go through. So these are in no particular order, so I don't want anybody thinking that one prospect is ahead of another. I haven't really come up with a ranking exactly of what I want. I've got an idea, but this is just right off the bat, right off the dome. First one up is Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. 5'11", 173. He ran a 4.49 40-yard dash out at the combine. I really thought it was going to be a bit faster than that. His game speed seems a bit faster, well, a lot faster in my opinion, to be like a 4.5 type of guy. But I don't really care about the 40 time at all. I think he's a great, fantastic route runner. He's very slippery, great footwork, great releases, can beat press sometimes, but doesn't really have the size to compete with press, kind of gets rerouted sometimes. He's only 173 pounds, might want to think about putting on some more weight like Zay Flowers did. He put on 13 more pounds, but Jordan Addison is no slouch. He runs fantastic routes. He is able to find the soft spot in the zones when he's able to sit, be patient, and wait for the ball, whether that be sitting in zone or just improvising on a broken down play. And his run after the catch ability is very, very well. You see this guy extremely slippery. It usually takes more than one person to get him down, not because he's so strong and just pushes people away and breaks tackles. It's just because he's so slippery to grab onto, and he just worms his way upfield. It's pretty incredible to see. Now, Addison to me is the best option at 25 for a wide receiver. Now, you can go ahead and talk about like Quentin Johnston, for example. I think he's going to be up there in the draft. That if the Giants really want him, really fell in love with him, they would have to probably trade up for him. But maybe Jordan Addison as well. You may see like a type of Chris Olave type trade where the Saints kind of traded up a bit to try to get Chris Olave. You may see the Giants try to do that if they really like Addison, but you may find a way to get him at 25. We'll see. Maybe that 40 time impacts him more than I think. Next up, we have Emmanuel Forbes, the cornerback out of Mississippi State, standing at 6'1", 166 pounds. Now, obviously, this guy is an absolute feather of a player. He has a great, long, lanky build. I really like his frame. He definitely needs to put on some weight. No doubt, whatever team he goes to, they're going to make him put on some weight. He ran a 4.35 40-yard dash. Now, that is at 166 pounds, so it's very light, but 4.35 is great time for a cornerback. He has a quick twitch-like reaction time, has great instincts, really fits as a zone corner going into the NFL. He probably should not be in a man defense, which I know the Giants run, but he's just one of those specimens that I really like to, really enjoy watching, and would be a project type of player, but could pay off in the long run. Now, he is a big boomer bust cornerback. He's allowed 14 touchdowns in his career, but on the flip side, has exactly 14 interceptions to match that in his college career, with 6 of them being pick sixes. That is the most of any cornerback in college football history. history. He's not a strong tackler. He's not a guy to really, you be a bully in the press game. He's not much of a press guy anyway. He really lacks technique when climbing upfield. Needs to have better control of his body. His body kind of gets away from him sometimes, loses his balance going upfield and winds up giving up a catch. But like I said, he's a project corner. A lot of guys like him. I like him. Big boomer bust guy. He's an option at 25. Next up, we have Cam Smith, the cornerback out of South Carolina. 6'1", 180 pounds. Again, a little bit on the smaller side, standing at 6'1". Another long, lanky, sort of skinny type build from Cam Smith, but he's a little bigger than Forbes, weighing in at about 14 pounds heavier at the same height. He ran a 4.43 40-yard dash, which is pretty damn good. A big problem with him, he's a little grabby, a little too touchy. He had 10 penalties last year. He's great at playing the ball, has a lot of pass deflections, has 6 interceptions in his career. He mostly translates to a man cornerback. Don't know how he will be in like a press man system, but definitely can stick with a lot of guys going downfield. I like Cam Smith. He's an option at 25. Maybe the best option at cornerback at 25. I'm not too sure about that yet. I'm really thrown for a loop with these cornerbacks going into the end of the first round, because they have a lot to like about them, but they do have a lot of problems. You look at guys like Christian Gonzalez and you look at guys like Devin Witherspoon. I really like these two prospects. I don't envision them slipping down to 25. Those are guys that you would have to trade up really like far, really high in the draft to try to grab up. I believe both of those guys will be gone within the top 12 picks. So that's just unrealistic. We really got to focus on the guys that we have here. Next up, we have Joey Porter Jr., the cornerback out of Penn State. He definitely has the best build and the best frame of the cornerback candidates that we have here. Standing at 6'2", 193 pounds. He's probably the prototypical cornerback build that I would love in a first-round corner to put as my starting boundary corner, and definitely has the skill set that I look for in Wink Martindale's scheme, that press man system. He is a press man corner. He's not great, doesn't have fast reaction times for a zone defense, which I think may be a problem going into the NFL. No team really plays man defense just flat out all the time, so he's gonna have to play some zone. I really don't like him in zone, and even in man coverage, he gets too grabby. He resorts to contact rather than using technique, and he uses that to try to hide the fact that he got beat, and he gets away with it a lot. In college, he gets away with a lot of holding calls that would be called, or pass interference that would be called in the NFL, and I don't think he's going to get away with it in the NFL. He has to learn better technique. He has long arms. He's very strong, and he knows that. He acknowledges that. He knows that he's stronger than these wide receivers. He uses that against them, and which is good. You want to be that annoying corner. You want to reroute your corners. You want to get them off the timing, but it's very dangerous, a very dangerous game to play in the NFL when talking about penalties and holding, and they call that all the time in the NFL. It's something you really have to be mindful of. Next up at number 5, we have Zay Flowers, the wide receiver out of Boston College. He's a little smaller, 5'9", 182 pounds, but boy, this guy does not play like he's 5'9", man. He really attacks the football. He fights through contact. He's not the fastest you'll ever see. He posted up a decent time of a 4.42 40-yard dash. Now, standing at 5'9", I would like that wide receiver standing at that height to be a little faster than that. Will post up a better time, like somewhere in the high 4.3s, 4.38, 4.39, somewhere around there. 4.42 is good. Odell Beckham ran like a 4.43 if I'm not mistaken, so it's not too bad. I'm not complaining about it. He added on 13 pounds on top of that. Maybe that's the reason why it was around a 4.42. Now, don't get me wrong, 4.42 is fast, right? It's fast, but a guy standing at 5'9", you would want them to be a little faster than guys that are around 6 foot. And nowadays in the NFL, you're seeing all these guys run 4.4, so you want to be a little faster than that if height is at a disadvantage to you. But like I said, he plays a lot bigger than he actually is, fights through contact, a lot of back shoulder throws, tracks the ball very well, can stop on a dime and catch the football right next to a defender. He's very good at that. He takes short yard routes and just does the most with them with a lot of breakaway speed. Now, his game speed's a lot better than his 40 time speed. Like I said, maybe the 13 pounds that he put on right before the combine. We haven't seen him play with that type of weight yet, and we don't know if he's done adding the weight. Maybe he's gonna put on some more. Who knows? But Zay Flowers is a guy that I think is the most reasonable guy, or the most realistic wide receiver we'll probably end up with. I think Jordan Addison may be in the late teens, maybe even creeping into the high teens, and Zay Flowers is a lot similar to Jordan Addison in my opinion. Jordan Addison is not a guy to really catch the ball in traffic very well. Doesn't have like those strong hands to fight through contact and catch the ball. Zay Flowers is that guy. However, Jordan Addison is more of the explosive type. Zay Flowers is explosive, not as explosive Jordan Addison, but a lot stronger hands coming from Zay Flowers than Addison. So they really kind of complement each other a little bit when it comes to being prospects in this upcoming draft together. Before we get into the last two, I want to talk about some honorable mentions, guys that just missed the list that I was really thinking about. The first one being O'Cyrus Torrence. Now, I know the Giants have a big problem at offensive line, and I kind of found myself not really paying attention to offensive linemen too much when it comes to the first round of the draft, just because I don't see anybody really valuing that pick at 25. You know, you have a lot of good tackles in the beginning of the rounds, but not great interior offensive linemen when it comes to the back end of the first round. You may want to try to target those type of players, these interior linemen, in the second round, third round maybe. But a guy that pops out to me, probably the best guy that I like, is O'Cyrus Torrence, out of Florida. He's a decent guy. I don't really have much problems with him. I just don't think he's really worth a first round pick for the Giants. Just we have so much other needs at this point. And trust me, I'm a guy that preaches offensive line, but I think the Giants would be better fit to attack that position in free agency rather than focusing on another rookie, developing another guy as a rookie, when we might have to either pay Daniel Jones some big money or even draft a young quarterback, and just the inexperience and the youth at the offensive line kind of needs to stop a little bit. We're drafting and getting too much young offensive linemen. We may need to get some free agents in here. The last honorable mention is Jalin Hyatt. A lot of people like Hyatt. I am not a Hyatt guy whatsoever, but he's another explosive wide receiver that the Giants may want to target with the 25th overall pick, depending on what wide receivers are there or what other candidates are there. Hyatt's okay. A lot of people compare him to Deshaun Jackson. I don't see that at all. Deshaun Jackson was just way much better of a route runner, just a more of a threat in the receiving game. Hyatt just seems like a one-trick pony to me. He's just a straight line speed guy. On top of that, his 40 time that he posted was extremely underwhelming. We talked about Zay Flowers posting a 4.42 40-yard dash, which is decent, but a guy like Jalin Hyatt, who was absolutely burning guys downfield and not being the greatest of route runners, not being anything more than a burner downfield. We want Jalin Hyatt to post up in those high 4.3s, like 4.33, 4.34, somewhere around there, 4.35 even. You want him to get around to that. A lot of people thought he may get in the 4.2s with his speed, but we did not see that there. He ran a 4.4 flat, and I just don't like Jalin Hyatt as a prospect too much. He's not a great route runner. He doesn't have fantastic hands. He doesn't even have the best ball tracking ability. He's just a guy to burn you deep. He does find great lanes to run through, slashes through zones, and knows how to get by you, but it's really all he provides. The NFL defenses are just way more advanced than that. They could shut down guys like that. You got to add more to your game than just being a burner downfield. Now, my last two prospects are guys that we may have to trade up for in this draft. So let's talk about it. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 6'1", 196, out of Ohio State. Now, Njigba is not a weird prospect. I like him a lot, but as far as where he ranks in draft boards, it's just all over the place. A lot of people have him at the back end of the first round. A lot of people have him as one of the first wide receivers taken in the draft, and going all the way in the top 10 range. It's just all over the place. There are guys like that in every single draft, but Jaxon Smith is a great option for the Giants. He's a big slot receiver. He probably just fits for the slot. He's not an outside guy. He's played the slot the majority of his career at Ohio State. He's had question about his burst, but in the combine, he put up a 6.5 second 3-cone drill and a 3.93 20-yard shuttle. That's very, very good. A lot of people were raving about that, and that kind of shuts down the question a bit with his burst ability, his start and stop maybe. But when you look at it on film, although he posted up some really good numbers there, when you look at it on film, he just doesn't have that extreme acceleration, doesn't have that burst to him, but he finds a way to get open. He has one of the strongest hands in this draft. He's a fantastic route runner. I think he will be a great addition to this offense, a reliable addition to this offense, and his ability to high point the ball, his ball tracking ability is elite. I really like his ability. He had even those back shoulder throws, over the shoulder throws, he's able to come in with those pretty damn well, even fighting through contact with it. So he's a great option, but the Giants may have to trade up in this draft for him. I don't think he's a guy to fall to 25. Now, another guy I wanted to talk about, which as I'm doing this video, I just have to bring him in here. I have to add him in here because listen, I don't know, who knows, the draft is just, it's crazy sometimes, but I'm in love with Christian Gonzalez, the corner out of Oregon. I love him, man. He's a man corner, posted up a 4.3, somewhere in the 4.3. I think it was like a 4.37 40-yard dash, which is insane for a guy that's like 6'2", and I think he's weighing in the 190s. I'll have to check. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, and he ran a 4.3. That's great. I really, really like that from Christian Gonzalez. He has a lot to his game. He follows routes so well. His height and his frame is fantastic for the position. It's probably the best build of the cornerbacks. I know I mentioned Joey Porter being the best build, but I just threw in Christian Gonzalez here. I'm like, what the hell? I love this guy so much. I would definitely trade up for Christian Gonzalez if he fell in the high teens. He has fluid hips. He transitions very well from pressing a guy to picking up on a double move and starting to move down the field to cover up the deep route. Like, he's just very, very fluid with it, man. There's not much you can get away with when it comes to Christian Gonzalez. He plays strong. He's probably the most complete corner of this draft. Devin Witherspoon is probably one of the best corners because of what he does well, but Christian Gonzalez to me is my favorite corner in this draft, and I would love to get a guy like him. So that's the video, guys. I know it was a bit long. I apologize for that, but that is the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like if you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new. And who do you guys want the Giants to draft with the 25th overall pick? Or do you want them to trade up? And how far do you want them to trade? Who do you want them to draft with a trade-up pick? Leave all your comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.